About a week ago, I watched a video by CardinalVirtues titled "The First Annual Comment Exchange Failgasm and Lolorama, the Dummining," in which he responded to a slew of comments that were left on his video "A World Without Religion Would Not Be a Utopia," in which he made a response to the cult of Dusty regarding his video to do with a world without religion. There are a lot of points I agree with in CardinalVirtues' videos on the topic. This video is specifically concerning his comments about the unfettered progress of scientific and technological advancement. They're approximately 34 minutes and 30 seconds into the comment exchange video, but since I wanted to make this video quickly, I decided that I did not wish to take the time to extract the clip myself. I therefore apologize in advance if I have misquoted CardinalVirtues in any part of this video. The statement I would really like to focus on is this one. Sometimes retarding the progress of science is a good thing. Now, he did admit that it would be somewhat controversial, and then he went on to give a list of reasons for why he believes that this is a good thing, all of which I agree with in principle. Essentially, it's the fact that science and scientific inquiry can be misused by people with ulterior motives in order to achieve some really destructive results. The Manhattan Project came out of investigations into nuclear fission. Biological warfare came about as an offshoot into biological medicine, germ theory being one of the theories that medicine relies heavily upon, as does the development of biological weapons. These are all things that I can see as valid reasons why scientific progress is not always a good thing. Where I disagree, however, is in how to deal with the problem. I'm more of the opinion that rather than slow down the rate of scientific progress, or in not developing along certain lines of inquiry, we should instead be making sure that we anticipate where the science in question can be misused, and perhaps developing countermeasures. Granted, this is not always possible, and it is unlikely ever to be easy. But the reason why this is a preferable option for me, as opposed to slowing down the development of scientific progress, is the same reason why I abhor the ending of Battlestar Galactica. To expand on this a bit, the ending of the show, for those of you who didn't watch it, had the surviving members of the colonial fleet as well as the last of the Cylons settle on Earth that we are all familiar with about 150,000 years ago, only for one of the major characters to convince everyone that they needed to give up their technology because, and I paraphrase, our technology surges forward and our souls get left behind. The consequences of this decision would have been horrific, sacrificing the knowledge that would have granted a comfortable lifestyle, and more importantly the means of storing information essential to the retaining societal knowledge, in turn leading to people losing said knowledge over time, was a bad move. Imagine, if you will, the loss of that knowledge, and the lessons learned from the past also being forgotten. One thing that has held universally true: if you forget the lessons of history, the odds are that you are likely to repeat them. Back to our real-world discussion. To not pursue an avenue of inquiry would be to close the door on the possible avenues of exploration that may come about as a result of such inquiry. For example, if someone saw that the development of nuclear fission, which was made possible by the discovery of how to split the atom, as a danger, one which should not be pursued, then it might have stopped any nuclear bombs being dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but it was also of limited or even halted development in nuclear power. Now, this in itself is a double-edged sword in that there is a risk of meltdown and there are waste products to deal with, but it has also led to developments in the far safer nuclear fusion variety. It would also have limited the use of nuclear batteries in space probes. The Voyager probes, Pioneer, and various interplanetary probes sent to the outer planets have relied upon these to power their systems, as well as understanding of how radiation in various forms affects human beings, which in turn has allowed us to determine safe dosages for exposure to X-rays, for example. For the various negative results that have come about as a result of scientific inquiry, there are often a whole host of benefits that also result. Another example I want to raise is the issue of biological and genetic research. CardinalVirtues mentioned in his video that human cloning has been banned. As far as I'm aware, every country that has the appropriate international treaties regarding scientific research in medicine have signed on with banning human cloning, and there are obvious risks involved. I'm not so sure if this is the correct decision. This is not to say that I think it should be allowed to happen, just that I don't understand the justifications behind it beyond the basic assumptions that I'm making, such as religious reasons, as well as one possible reason being that cloning is not a perfect process, and the resultant clone may in some way be deformed. I'm just saying that I'd like some additional clarification or opinions before I make my own judgment either way. What I would like to say, however, is that while cloning itself might be an issue, embryonic stem cell research is another issue entirely, and one that I can see no good reason for banning. The ban appears to be entirely religiously motivated and is a retardation of scientific progress in order to appease fundamentalist religious people. It saddens me because the possible avenues for treatment of various debilitating, and in many cases terminal, conditions in humans today are being denied because this research is banned. Essentially, the problem is not scientific inquiry. The problem is in humans who make the decisions as to what to do with their discoveries. And so while I agree with the principle of being careful about scientific discoveries being misused, I think that ensuring such discoveries are not misused, rather than slowing down the progress of scientific inquiry itself, is the appropriate answer here. Thank you for listening.